Well, it's Friday. I wasn't too sure what I was going to do on this particular episode, but for the heck of it, I finally, well, sort of, catched up with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. So we're going to be reviewing five events from them. The first two are part of the Spring Tour 2025. The first one is, of course, in Hiroshima, and the second one in Fukuoka. There was another one, but unfortunately, I was unable to find it. There's also the one called the Pure Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling 9, which had a very interesting kind of event where certain wrestlers dress up as you know who from their promotion. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And then of course we have the Las Vegas show that took place recently during WrestleMania week. So that's going to be also awesome to watch. And then finally, this is Japan. Now, as you know, by the time most half of their roster went straight to the U.S. for the Las Vegas show, well, there were others who remained behind, and they did a very interesting show. But however, the main event features, of course, a number one contendership for the International Princess Championship. So we're going to get through that one, see how that rolls up. And then, as always, we'll cap up our episode with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, what's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or nice comments in the description down below. Now, enough with the pleasantries. So, let it all begin. As you probably remember, I said this is all about Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. So we're going to be reviewing five events. So let's begin with the first one, part of the Spring Tour 2025 in Hiroshima. Let's begin with the first show with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. This is from early this month on the 5th of April. This is part of the Spring Tour 2025 in Hiroshima. So, yep. And as always, we have Sayuri Namba, who will be, of course, opening the show, greeting the fans, and giving them the information of the entire event. And, of course, a nice performance from the Up Up girls. Now, our first match, we have Ura Takami taking on Kaya Toribami. Now, nothing too special about this match, but of course, you all may know Takami, in the other hand, is much of the lesser experience in the wrestling ring, so you probably can guess that she most likely will lose this match against Kaya Toribami, who in fact has a bit more experience than her, which of course, obviously, we have seen her grown up significantly. But of course, Kaya picked up the win by applying a submission, and just like that, Uta had no choice but to tap out. So just like that, it was over. Next match, we have a six-woman tag team match. We have Chika Nanaze, Moka Miyamoto, and of course the apologetic Mahiro Kiru. They take on, of course, a very interesting team that we've seen too many times team up: Pam Harajuku, Raku, and Yuki Aino. Now, of course, we have seen over time how these three ladies, Pam, Raku, and Yuki, have teamed up on various occasions, and they're a very good, solid team together. So, what exactly is going to bring to the table? Well, their bond has always been very strong. But as for the other team, Chika, Moka, and of course Mahiro, well, we've seen them team up from different various occasions. Either if you see occurs Mahiro with Chika, or Chika with Moka, or Mahiro with Moka, however you do it. But of course, they don't have like that same kind of bond that we have with Palm, Raku, and of course Yuki. But however, this match ended with Raku applying a submission onto Chika Nanaze, and of course Nanaze had no choice but to tap out. Next up, we have singles action. We have Mifu Ashida taking on, of course, Rika Tatsumi. So it doesn't take a genius how this match was going to get. I mean, we all know Rika Tatsumi is the first ever Triple Crown winner in Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling as the uh, Princess Tag Team Champion, International Princess Champion, and of course, Princess of Princess Champion. So you can guess that she's probably going to win this match regardless. And she did when she applied a figure four leg lock onto Ashida. And just like that, Ashida had no choice but to tap. Next up, we have another six-woman tag team match. We have Toga, Haru Kazashiru, and of course, former Prince Champion, also Triple Crown winner, Miyu Watanabe. They take on Ivy Steel, Kirasuma Summer, and Yuki Kamifuku. Now, some of you may question, of course, it's no secret that Kira and Ivy team up a lot because they both speak English, and not to mention they're from two different parts of the world. Ivy's from the UK, while Kira's from Australia. But what does have to do with Yuki Kamifuku? For those who don't know, she knows how to speak English as well. But that doesn't solve a lot of things in this particular match. I mean, don't forget, guys, Haru Kazushiro is in fact winner of the tournament that took place earlier this year. But she has been good teaming with Toga for a while now since they both were debuted together. But in the end, it was in fact Miyu Watanabe who picked up the win when she applied a double axe handle onto Ivy, and just like that, Ivy had no choice but to tap out. Next up, we have former tag team champions, and of course, who's one currently who is the international princess champion, Zuzumi, teams up once again with Irisu Endo to take on Haruneka and Hyper Misao. Now, of course, it doesn't take a genius to figure this out. As you know, Arisu Endo and Zuzumi are a solid tag team, and not to mention former tag champions, which obviously helps out in their way. So, but unfortunately, Neko suffered in the hands of Suzume when she applied, of course, the ring the bell, which is the stunner, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Next up, we have singles action. We have Yoshiko Hasegawa taking on Miyu Yamashita. Now, of course, it doesn't take interesting what we do know. As you know, I mentioned Yoshiko will be retiring soon. But as for Miyu Yamashita, we all know what she's capable of. I mean, she's the type of person who can kick your head off. And that's exactly what she did to Hasegawa. She gave her the skull kick. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Next up, we have an interesting tag team match. We have Maki Ito and Shino Suzuki teaming up. They take on Wakana Uehara and our current Princess of Princess champion, Mizuki. So nothing too special on this one whatsoever. But this match ended with, of course, with Mizuki applying the Cutie special onto Shino Suzuki. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. So not bad for a good show. I mean, some good matches we had. Nothing preliminary on this one, but we'll see. So right now, let's move on to the other show, part of the spring tour in, of course, Fukuoka. As we continue with more with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, as I mentioned before, they started doing a bit of a tour called the Spring Tour 2025. Now, we did the Hiroshima review. Let's do the Fukuoka one. And this one took place on the 6th of April, which is, of course, in the beginning of early this month. Now, as always, Sayuri Namba opening up the show, the Up Girls doing their usual thing, performing. So we get that out of the way. Our first match, we have Mifu Ashita taking on Moka Miyamoto. Now, we haven't seen Mifu Ashita pick up a big win just yet. I don't know exactly how long her wrestling experience, but I would say possibly she's probably in the less than the 3 year mark. Those who haven't picked up the win yet. I mean, this is something very common that we've seen with Stardom and possibly Ashita. If you guys know this, she was not really uh, part of the Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling uh, dojo. She was part of the Ice Ribbon, so she was amongst those that left when things were going messed up down there. But I figured that Moka Miyamoto could probably win because we have seen her pick up wins here and there. She hasn't picked up, of course, the bigger wins just yet. But she was able to pick up the win when she applied the Cobra Clutch. And just like that, Ashita had no choice but to tap out. Next up, we have tag team action. We have Chika Nanaze teaming up with Yoshiko Hasegawa. They take on Haruna Neko and Mahiro Kiru. Now, these two, of course, they have teamed up on a few occasions, and not to mention, they're really good friends outside the ring. If you guys never seen some of their stuff in social media, so it kind of makes perfect sense. I mean, if they team up that often, that means they are building up their cohesion as a tag team. And that kind of plays out pretty well. But however, it was Mahiru who picked up the win onto Nanaze when she applied the spine buster, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Next up, we have a three-way match. We have Shino Suzuki versus Kaya Toribami versus Raku. Now, those who may have paid attention, there is a bit of an advantage for those who know Raku and Shino Suzuki are part of the Up Girls. Now, they can easily team up if they want to. That's always been obvious. But there was a moment where you see Raku and Toribami actually team up onto Suzuki. So that kind of goes in every way. But the real question is who is going to walk out as the victor. I mean, there's many ways this could have gone, but in the end, it was Raku who picked up the win when she pinned Suzuki, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Next up, we have another tag team match. We have Ivy Steele and Kira Summer teaming up. They take on Toga and Rika Tatsumi. So basically, it's a very interesting matchup. Now, of course, Rika Tatsumi is the most popular wrestler in Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. Most likely, it was going to fall land into her to pick up the win, which she did when she applied the twist of fate onto Kira Summer. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Next up, we have Ura Takami and Miyu Watanabe, a part of the Up Girls. They take on, of course, Daisy Monkey, our former tag team champions, Arisu Endo, and Zuzumi. Now, of course, we have seen on certain occasions with Ura Takami and Miyu Watanabe, they team up, but they haven't had that stable tag team cohesion yet. I mean, they have teamed up, but they're not on a regular basis type that we've seen with Daisy Monkey. And that kind of tells the story right there. And of course, in the end, it was Zuzumi with the ring the bell onto Ura Takami. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it's over. Just like that. Next up, we have Palm Harajuku and Hyper Misawa teaming up. They take on Mizuki and Aja Kong. Now, of course, when it comes to Aja Kong, it's no secret. It takes a lot of effort to push her down. I mean, she's not the type of person who just go down easily when it comes to that. Of course, I mean, Hyper Misawa, as you all know, she's the resident superhero of the group. But there's certain times she likes to quit, like cut through. But it did not work because apparently Palm ended up on the wrong side of the Uranagi by Kong, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our main event, we have 6-woman tag team match. We have Maki Ito, Wakana Uhara, and Yuki Kamifuku. They take on Haru Kazushita, Yuki Aino, and Miyu Yamashita. Now, of course, it's no secret when it comes to Miyu and Maki, they always either team up or they face off. I mean, it goes either way, but it doesn't matter exactly how this was going to turn out because we were going to see a good match. But in the end, it was, of course, Maki Ito who walked away with the win when she applied the Texas Cloverleaf onto Haru, and of course, Haru had no choice but to tap out. So just like that, that's how things end with Fukuoka. Now, I do want to put a note here. There was another part of the tour of the spring tour 2025 in Shinjuku Face. Unfortunately, since I don't have Wrestle Universe, I have another other means of way to watch their shows. But unfortunately, they did not upload this specific one in Shinjuku Face. Now I'm not sure if I'll be able to see it later on if they do upload it or not. That depends. But if not, then too bad. So that's pretty much what it is. It is what it is, and there's nothing I can do about it. But as of right now, we have to move forward. So as of right now, let's move on to the next one with Pure Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling 9. Okay, as we continue again with more with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, this is their much recent event that took place on the 13th of April. This is part of the Universe member show called Pure Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling 9. This took place on the 13th of April in Katsusawa uh, Town Hall, which is in Tokyo, in case anybody asks. Now, as usual, we have Sayuri Namba opening up the show, and of course, the Up Up Girls doing their little performance. Now, there's a lot of things that happen in the show, and I'll get to that a bit by bit as we get closer and closer. Now, hold on a second. Yeah, how to fix the notes here. Anyway, our first match, we have Chika Nanaze versus Yuki Kamifuku. Now, nothing too special, but as I always talk about the experience of wrestlers, Chika Nanaze does not have the necessary experience as Yuki Kamifuku because we have seen her how much she has been successful. But of course, this match ended with Kamifuku applying the famous Sir onto her, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it's over. Next up, we have a very interesting. We have the UK representative Ivy Steele taking on Australian representative Kira Summer. So it's an interesting thing. I mean, uh, Kira Summer, I don't know if she was wearing one of those khaki shirts that the Crocodile Hunter has. I thought it was kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know if she's trying to be like representing that type of, because Australia, we do know their neck of the woods is called the Outback. So it's pretty interesting. But I wasn't too sure exactly. I mean, as I said, with some wrestlers, they haven't picked up the big wins that they need to get. They should be getting down the line. But I wasn't too sure how this was going to go end. But in the end, it was Kira Summer who picked up the win. Well, it seems like it was a Samoan drop or something. I'm not sure 100% if that's what it was. So she picked up the win. I mean, it's not a big win, just to make it all clear. It's a win nonetheless. So we haven't seen the bigger win yet for her, but hopefully one day we will see it. Next up, we have a 6-woman tag team match. We have Moka Miyamoto, Mahiro Kiru, and Hyper Misawa taking on Raku and Yuki Aino, and of course Haru Naneko. They all team dressed up as luchadoras, wearing masks. So I thought it was really interesting. However, there was like another character that showed up out of nowhere and just picked up the win. But unfortunately, Hyper Misawa, who's probably familiarized with Lucha Libre style, was able to pick up the win when she applied the Mahestral onto Neko, and just like that, 1, 2, 3. It was over. Next up, this was a very unique type of match. This one's called the academic and martial arts match. So basically, you have to be in a match that looks like a martial arts, but at the same time, you have to answer the questions like an academic student. So basically, if you do something, you have to answer the question, and if you get it wrong, well, you so basically, they just add up by points. So they basically give you a mic saying, "Can you answer this question?" And they do that. But the team that won that was none other. It was of course Takumi and Miyu Watanabe. They take on Arisu Endo and Miyu Yamashita. But it was in the end, Uda Takumi and what's her name, Miyu Watanabe. They picked up the win. But it was Takumi who picked up the win. Uh, for her team. So that's how it plays out. So it's very interesting. I mean, they do some very wacky type of matches in case anybody asks. Now, our next match is called the Werewolf Death Match. Now, don't ask me why. I don't even want to know. But there's been like a elimination match in case. Here's who they had. We have Shino Suzuki versus Kaya Toribami versus Maki Ito versus Rika Tatsumi versus Shoko Nakajima. So I think some of you may think in some capacity how this was going to play out. Well, I think some of you may think, okay, it would be Maki Ito, Rika Tatsumi, or Shoko Nakajima, the most popular girls. I mean, yes, I mean, that would have been the obvious choice. But in the end, it was Kaya Toribami who picked up the win when she picked up the elimination. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Now, our main event, we have an 8-woman tag team match. However, these ladies dressed up in costumes in case anybody asks. We have Toga dressed up as Hyper Misawa, Wakana Uhara dressed up as Miyu Yamashita, Imawari dressed up like Shoko Nakajima, and Haru Kazushito. Um, I forgot who she was dressed up to, but yes. Oh yeah, Haruna Neko. I forgot. Yes. And then we got what's her name? Well, these next girls, they're all dressed up as the Up girls. Uh, Yoshiko Hasegawa dressed up as Uda, uh, Uda Takami, Pamanajuku as Raku, Suzumi as Miyu Watanabe, and of course Mizuki as Shino Suzuki. So it's kind of interesting how they all dressed up representing the Up girls. But I thought it was a lot of fun. Now, some of you may ask, would they portray the characters? You know, like does Wakana has to act like do the infamous kicks that might Miyamashita did? The answer to that question is yes, they did that. But however, that does not does not excuse, of course, that they're not allowed to use their normal moves. I mean, it was Mizuki who picked up the win onto Haru when she applied the cutie special, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Just like that, it was done. So pretty much it. That's how it ended. So, real fun event. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the last ones are pretty fun. So that's pretty much it what we have for this one. So let's move on to the next one. And this is part of the Las Vegas show, live in Las Vegas. Okay, we continue with more with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling. As you know, they did a show in Las Vegas during WrestleMania week. This happened on the 18th of April. Now, as you probably figured out, Sayuri Namba was not involved in the show. In case anybody asked, no, I forgot his name. He's that ring announcer from GCW. He did all that in presence. But however, as you know, the Up girls were there, with the exception of Uda Takami, who was not present. The only ones that were present was Miyu Watanabe, Araku, and Shino Suzuki. So they were the only 3 members, of course, of the promotion. I mean, of the Up girls who were there. So most likely that's what it is. And they played the infamous song Up Kicker. So basically, that's the song they used. So pretty much that's how it ends. Now, our first match, we have Yuki Arai versus Arisu Endo. So nothing too special, but it was a pretty good match, not gonna lie. Arisu Endo, we have seen her develop her singles action skill for quite some time, but unfortunately, in the end, it was of course Yuki Arai who picked up the win with finally, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Next up, we have six-woman tag team match. We have Yuki Aino, Ram Kaicho, and Viva Van teaming up. They take on what's their name? Rika Tatsumi, Shino Suzuki, and Vert Vixen. Now, nothing too special about this, So it was a pretty good, fun match. Not gonna lie. I mean, uh, of course, we've seen interesting combination. Some of you may question, why is Ram Kaicho involved in this match? Well, for those who don't know, Ram Kaicho was involved in WrestleMania week as well. I mean, she did participate with Spark Yoshi Pro of America, so that would explains it. But nonetheless, she was participated. But in the end, it was of course Yuki Aino with the Venus DDT onto, of course, Shino, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Next up, we have Zara Zacher teaming up with Maki Ito. They take on Raku and Max Impaler. Now, originally, it was supposed to be Palm in this match with Max, but for whatever reason, it seems like it did not happen. We don't know why. I mean, it was very disappointing. Now, of course, when it comes to Max, I don't think Raku knows. Just do what Max is trying to do. Let her use you as a weapon. I mean, Palm doesn't seem to mind anyway. She enjoys it. I mean, you got to give Max what she wants. I mean, she acts like she runs the show, and I think Palm and Max have always developed that understanding. Yes, Palm is a bit fragile and a bit too nice, but she understands Max that she's not here to play games, and neither is Palm. But they could have got the job done, but unfortunately, Raku ended up on the wrong side of Maki Ito's Texas Cloverleaf, and just like that, she had no choice to tap. I wouldn't be surprised if Max is asked, why wasn't Palm here? We could have won. So, that's my assumption right there, for all of you. Now, our next match, this is one of four title matches. The first one is the International Princess Championship, and this is a rematch. We have once again Jada Stone taking on Zuzumi. Now, Jada Stone has already challenged for this belt, but not in US soil. It happened in Japan about a couple of months ago, but she came up short. But the real question we ask ourselves, does lightning strike twice? Now, of course, obviously, since this match was happening in the US, it feels like home field advantage for Jada Stone. Yes, it could have been that way, but unfortunately it did not, because once again Suzuki's shown what she's meant to do as a singles competitor when she applied the ringer bell, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. She retained her championship. Now, our next match is the Princess Tag Team Championship. We have Wakana Uehara and Yuki Kamifuku challenging for this belt, and that is, of course, against Hyper Misawa and, of course, Shoko Nakajima. Now, of course, Yuki Kamifuku has always been aiming for these belts, but it doesn't seem like to get the job done. I mean, she tried that with Mahiro Kiru, but it did not work. So the real question is, could this work with Wakana Uehara? I mean, Wakana Uehara has developed the gain a lot of weight, pull up her own weight in tag matches, and that's exactly what happened. But unfortunately, that match did not do any favors for them, because it was Shoko Nakajima with the senton onto her, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Now, our next match, this is for the TNA Knockouts World Championship. Masha Slamovich defends her belt against, of course, former Princess of Princess champion Miyu Watanabe. So it's interesting to see that another belt from another company is involved in this match. Yes. Some of you may question, why would she do that? I mean, for those who don't know, her first official tour was with Marvelous, but her biggest tour she's done is with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, and that's the main reason. But of course, Miyu was going to throw everything at her, every ounce of strength, every possible way to pick up a win, but unfortunately it didn't do any favors for her, because it was Masha who walked away with the win when she applied, of course, the package power driver, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was done. Now on to our main event. We have the Princess to Princess Championship. Miyu Yamashita, who's a former champion herself, at least 3 or 4 times, takes on Mizuki. So the real question is, can Mizuki, of course, take on someone like the Pink Striker? I mean, look, Miyu. If you guys remember when it came to Mizuki, when Yuka Sakazaki was the champion at the time, Yuka was afraid to show what she's made of. Like a side of her she does not want Mizuki to see. But Mizuki demanded it no matter what. But the real question is, can she pull it off when it comes to Yamashita? I mean, she is someone not to mess with. She's someone who doesn't hold any punches. And I think Mizuki took it like a champ no matter what. I mean, either way, this match could have gone either Yamashita or Mizuki, but in the end, it was Mizuki who picked up the win when she applied the cutie special, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, she retained the championship. And just like that, it was over. So that's pretty much it. What happened in, of course, the Las Vegas show. Now it's time to do our final review, and this was back in Japan with This Is Japan. Okay, our last review, more with Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, in case anybody asks. This is their show that took place in Japan. While some of the wrestlers in Yoshi wrestlers were in Las Vegas, there were still those that were still in Japan. So basically, that kind of makes a little sense, you know? Because as you all know, I mentioned Uda Takami was not involved with the Up girls in Las Vegas. Now, this particular event took place on the 19th of April in the Kanda Mijoin Hall. I don't know what that is, but anyway, it opened up as usual with Sayuri Namba. But as you know, once Sayuri Namba normally finishes her greetings and the info of the event, normally we have the Up girls performing. But as I mentioned, Uda Takami was in fact there doing the performance, so she did all things by herself. I mean, it's not the first time something like this happened with the Up girls. There have been some instances we've seen Miwanabe or Raku. Back then we had, of course, Hikari Noah. So that kind of plays out pretty well, you know. So that makes it a lot more sense in case anybody asks. So let's get started with the first match. Our first match is a very interesting one. Now, apparently, this match somehow ended up as part of looking for a number one contender for the International Princess Championship. It started out with an 8-woman tag team match. Now, here's who we have. Team number one, Mifu Ashita, Ivy Steele, Kira Summer, and Toga. They take on Uda Takami, Chika Nanaze, Imawari, and Kazushito. Now, of course, that's the obvious question. Now, you probably can say, okay, they're going to be determined to pick up a win. But how this is going to turn out? Well, first, there has to be one team to win, and that's where we go from there. But it was, in fact, Haru who picked up the win when she applied a bridge onto Kira, and just like that, it was over. However, the next match they were going to do a little later, it was going to determine a tag team to eliminate them, and they move on to the finals of the number one contendership. And the only way to do that is this. For those who don't know, in Japan they have this thing where they have like a little jar with sticks in there. Now, whatever color, of course, comes out, that's what it is. I mean, we did see that on various occasions. So here's how it's going to go down. So it's Uda Takami, Chika Nanaze, Ira Imawari, and Haru Kazushito. Who's going to go? Well, the ones who picked out with the blue tip, it turned out to be Uda Takami and Imawari. As for Chika Nanaze and Haru, they got the red tip. So those that's the next tag team match. So we'll get to that in a bit. Now, our next match, we have Pam Harajuku takes on Moiki Haruhi. If those who don't know who she is, she normally wrestles with Gambari Pro. But yeah, so that's the reason. Of course, if you guys know, there is a connection between Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling and Gambari. Of course, Yunamanaze actually did train some of the girls in Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling a long time ago, so it would make sense. Now, of course, you would think that Pam Harajuku, with her usual shenanigans, would have picked up the win. Nope. Apparently, it was um, Moiki actually counter it with a crucifix onto Palm, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Next up, we have Tabitha from CML. Now, some of you may question, whoa, wait a minute, J-Rod, isn't she working with Stardom? Yes, I don't know what's the reason, but I'm sure they came up with the deal. Because, as you know, some of the girls went to Vegas, so it would sense that they probably loan her for this particular event. And Tabitha faced against Kaya Toribami. Nothing too special. I mean, I have to say, I like Tabitha how she was throwing her a little bit of the lucha libre style into this match, and man, it was a pretty good one. But unfortunately, Kaya Toribami applied some sort of a twisty thingy off the springboard, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now our next match is part of the number one contendership for the International Princess Championship. We have the tag match. We have Uda Takami and Imawari taking on Chika Nanaze and Haru Kazushiro. So the real question is, okay, who's going to walk out to be in the finals to, of course, become the number one contender? So it's anybody's fair game. I mean, they're all determined to become number one contenders. But in the end, it was, of course, Uda who applied a very interesting submission onto Chika Nanaze, and just like that, Chika had no choice but to tap out. So in the end, it became, of course, Imawari and Uda Takami. So we'll get to that in a bit. Next up, we have singles action. We have Yoshiko Hasegawa taking on Kakeru Sekiguchi. For those who don't know, these two ladies know each other very well. You probably ask yourselves, how? Simple. They were part of Actwres Girls, in case anybody asks. So that's how it plays out, you know. But I felt by watching this, for those who know, there was a moment where, of course, Hasegawa had a bit of the how do I say, a year a year hiatus, but Sekiguchi has been wrestling since then. So that kind of plays out until, of course, Sekiguchi applied a stunner, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Next up, we have tag team action. We have Haruna Neko and Mahiro Kiru taking on Moka Miyamoto and, of course, Ryu Mizunami. So everybody knows how this one rolls out when it comes to Ryu Mizunami. She is there to, blow your brains out. And that's exactly what she was trying to do. But she picked up the win when she applied a spear onto Neko, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now on to our main event, which is the number one contendership for the International Princess Championship. Who will walk out? Uda Takami and over Imawari. That's a very good question. I mean, these two ladies, well, I feel Takami has not yet reached the level potential yet. I mean, she is a real fun individual to follow, but she's not there yet into that capability to pick up her big win. But Imawari was able to pull it off. I mean, here's how it goes. Uda tried her submission and it didn't work, but it was in fact Imawari with a power slam, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, number one contender. So, real question is, what does, of course, our current champion will say, Zuzumi? Well, we just have to wait to see when she comes back from her US excursion, but I'm sure that's probably going to happen real soon. So we'll stay tuned for that. So as of right now, we are finished with all the reviews. Let's move on with our next and final thing, news updates. All right. Welcome to our news updates. So let's begin as always with upcoming events. Now we have two coming updates from GCW regarding two events coming up. As you know, we have the Tournament of Survival 10 taking place on the 7th of June in Atlantic City. Now, some names have been announced. For that, 7 names have been mentioned. We have Dr. Redacted, Matt Tremont, Daiju Wakamatsu, Mr. Danger, Beastman, Beth, or better known as Bobby Beverly, and of course the Duke of Hardcore, John Wayne Murdoch. And then of course we have the top play that will take place in July. We have Effie, Mance Warner, One Call Manders, Jonathan Gresham, and Matt Tremont. Now, of course, I'm sure there's going to be more names that will be mentioned down the road, so we'll stay tuned for that. Now, interesting news coming from Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling for their Northern Rising event on the 10th of May. As you know, recently there has been some WWE releases. Well, amongst them is none other than Too Sweet! The Good Brothers, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows will be making their appearance. So, that's going to be a lot of fun. Now, as you know, recently there's been a lot of collaboration between Prestige Wrestling, West Coast Pro, and Deadlock Pro Wrestling. But however, in this particular update here is Prestige and West Coast Pro with their upcoming event called Conquer the World that will take place on the 15th of May. They announced Liza Hall will take on Maya World, so that's going to be interesting. Tijuana Promotion, the Crash, as you know, they'll have the event real soon on the 16th of May. They just announced Kenny King will be in fact participating, so that's going to be interesting. Now, as you probably heard about what happened, the NWA, this one was announced by William Patrick Corgan, or as we know him, Billy Corgan, the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins and the owner of course, of the National Wrestling Alliance, has announced for the Crockett Cup that will take place on the 17th of May, the NWA World Women's Championship will be defended. Kenzie Page will defend her title against WWE superstar Natalya. Now, some of you may not know this. I was not aware of this until after it happened, that apparently during a Bloodsport event, Natalya got into the face of Kenzie Page. So that is kind of interesting to hear. So I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. Now, more names have been added for the upcoming Kitsune Women's Wrestling show. As you know, there'll be 2 back-to-back shows in the month of June. One on the 7th here in San Diego and the 8th of June in LA. However, Dark Sheik has been announced to participate for both shows. However, another name has been mentioned, but this individual will only participate for the LA show on the 8th. Alice Blair. So I don't know who she is. If anybody does know, then you know. And then finally, as you know, with the success of the Las Vegas show that took place, Spark Yoshi Pro America has announced for their upcoming event in June in Texas called Ignite Texas, and this will take place at Baytown, Texas, which is part of the Houston area. Now, they haven't announced who will participate, but I'm sure as time gets closer and closer, we will find out. So stay tuned for that. So as of right now, we are officially done with the upcoming events, so let's talk about developments. Now, many of you may not like this. I don't know if you guys think that Dave Meltzer is full of it. Well, Minoru Suzuki was not happy with Dave Meltzer. If you guys don't know what I'm referring to, let me tell you. He was very upset in the backstage because Dave Meltzer gave him a bad rating for his match with, what's his name? Butterbean at the Mark Hitchcock Super Show that took place. And according to what reports are saying, Dave Meltzer rated the match up to a negative 459.7 stat. And Suzuki always says that he never had a bad match, but he's feeling like, what did I deserve to have a bad match? So, I don't know either, guys. I cannot explain it for him. Now, Eddie Kingston, for those who know, as you know, he's been out for a while due to an injury. Well, apparently it's been reported that he's getting closer now to his comeback. He's been training well. And then, of course, he has been getting help from Caesar Bononi. If you guys know him, he was part of the, of course, part with, what's his name? Peter Avalon, JD Drake, and Ryan Mendeth. I forgot what they call themselves. But yes, so Caesar Bononi has been helping him out on that, training him very well. And it's very nice to hear them. Now, for those who know this, recently Saory, Anu, and of course Natsupoi are having their upcoming event on the 31st of May, celebrating 10 years of being in the same industry together. However, they've been going around picking out, getting people to be involved in their upcoming event. Well, surprisingly, they went back to the very beginning where it all began for them and how they met. They went back, of course, to Actwres girls. Now, some of you may question, really? They went back to Actwres girls? Yes, because they need them. Not to wrestle, but for those who don't know, there is videos, clips of them dancing the song Love Riddle, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They want them to do that thing called the Actwres time. That way they can do the Love Riddle, and they're going to be joining them. So this is part of their history. So it's understandable, and they actually went to the owner, promoter, whoever, asked permission, and of course, Aksayu Yusakawa was there too. So basically, they gladly accepted the invitation. So we'll see them there. Now, for our latest one, as you know, recently there's been talk about what's going on with WWE since they purchased AAA Lucha Libre. Now, recently, for those who know this, apparently it was reported now recently that Jeremy Borash, many of you may remember him from TNA, he'll be now integrated into the creative role that is currently been held by Conan. Now, apparently, it's just been told now that Conan will not be removed in whatsoever, but it's still unclear. Let me pull up that information. I think I have it. This was reported by a Wrestling Observer recently. Let me pull it up. Yeah, here it is. This is what they said. AAA people in charge have said that everyone on the roster needs to start learning English and to work in more of American style after WWE brought the company. Jeremy Borash is reported being added to the AAA creative team, and Conan will remain in some form, but whether he'll be head of creative is unclear. So yes, so it seems now that every wrestler in AAA has to learn how to speak English, but also wrestle in American style. Now I don't know how that would do any good. I mean, I'm sure people may not like it, and I'm not going to say that I don't, but I am concerned how things would change. Now, as the position for Jeremy Borash, him integrating into the creative team, it most likely could happen, but it's still unclear about Conan. I mean, if he's still going to be, but we just don't know what his role is. There's still some people concerned that he could lose his job. I mean, I don't blame them for fearing it, but to be honest with you, on the level here, Conan, I have to say, he's full of it for all the things he said about Stephanie Vaquer. That still pisses me off. But that's how I feel about him. Saying that Stephanie was a liar. Well, he's the one who should be talking. So we'll see how things roll. I mean, sure, some things can change when it comes to WWE now taking control, but only time will tell. So that is not today or tomorrow. Maybe weeks, months, maybe years. I don't know. So we'll just have to wait and see. So as of right now, we are officially done. So let's just call it a day. Okay. I hope everybody enjoys this episode. As you probably know, we have the upcoming New Japan event. So stay tuned for that. We do have, of course, AEW Collision. So anything could happen for that. So stay tuned for that too. So if there's any other events, I'll let you guys know. But as of right now, that's pretty much it. So until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.